I know some of you have been guilty of jacking up your own life. You have been guilty of ruining your own life, of messing up, watch this, a good situation. I wonder, has God ever blessed anybody, put you in a better place, but then all of a sudden, here you go with your jacked up decision. Here you go playing the fool again. Here you go acting stupid again. Here you go acting like you ain't been taught, and you're doing something that's hurting yourself.
Thank you, Jesus. Hey, and let God. You gotta and let God. Don't worry about it. And let God. Cast your burden and let God. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Don't worry about it. You gotta let Him do it. Don't cry about it. You gotta let Him do it. While you're staying up all night. While you're worrying about it, you can't work it out. Let God do it. Let God do it.
To the 5th chapter. We'll notice in Mark chapter number 5. We are looking at Mark chapter number 5. Going to read verse number 1 down to verse number 6. And then we are going to look at verse number 15. Notice again, the book of Mark, chapter number 5. Notice what the Bible said. Then they came. The they in the text is Jesus and his disciples. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he, or Jesus, had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs. No one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been pulled apart by him, and their shackles broken in pieces. Neither could anyone tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. Verse 6 says, when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and he worshiped him. Notice again, verse 6, when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and he worshiped him. And of course, Jesus is going to deal with the problem. The problem is that the man is possessed by an unclean spirit or demons. And the demons in the man reveal that they are many. And so Jesus, again, is going to free this man, or he is going to deliver him from that which has been having him bound for so many years. Even had him acting, if you will, not even like a human. But notice in verse 15, they came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon possessed and had the legion of the many demons, sitting and clothed in his right mind, and they were afraid or astonished. But I want you to notice, because we have been talking about our choices matter. Our choices determine how we are going to reap, and our choices determine our reputation. Notice, because of the choices that this man had been making, he was known for being somebody who, notice again in verse number 4, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains. The chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces. Neither could anyone tame him. And of course, the reason they were seeking to bind him or to put him in chains or to tame him is not to hurt him, but they was making an effort to help him. They was trying to do something to help him. Because again, notice what was taking place in the 5th verse, because this is where we're going to take our subject for this morning. The Bible said, and always. Somebody say always. Always. See, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. Notice he didn't cut himself every now and then. But again, this was something he was known for doing. He was known for night and day being in the mountains or in the tombs or the graveyard, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when this man saw Jesus and ran to worship him, he knew that it was an opportunity or a moment that he needed to seize or take advantage of. Y'all hang in here with me. Because he had been known for cutting himself. But when he saw Jesus afar off again, I like to think about this man, that he knew this is the time. This is an opportunity for me to change for the better. This is it. These other men have not been able to help me. But this man can help. This man can do something about my situation. What is his situation? He's cutting himself. And so based upon that, when you look at him cutting himself, he was doing something, or he was hurting himself. And so based upon that, look at somebody and tell them the subject this morning: time to stop hurting yourself. Look at somebody and tell them the subject this morning: time to stop hurting yourself. Let's give God a praise for our subject. It's time to stop hurting yourself. It's time to stop hurting yourself. Again, this morning I want to talk about it being the time, the season, the right moment to stop hurting yourself. Now, most of us, if we be honest this morning, many of us have been guilty of hurting ourselves on purpose or willfully. I said most of us have been guilty of hurting ourselves on purpose or willfully. In other words, we recognize when we look at our past that there were things that we chose to do. There were things that we chose not to do that ended up hurting our lives, but it was us. It was us. It was something done on purpose, or it was something we did intentional that we hurt ourselves. I wonder, have you ever had a wound, but if you be honest about the wound that you received, it was what we like to call a self-inflicted wound. It was something that I did on purpose, and it hurt me. It jacked up my life. It made my life worse. It made my situation worse. But when I look at it and when I'm honest with myself, because the one person above all that you need to be honest with is you. You need to always learn how to be honest with the person that you see in the mirror. No matter how upset you get with yourself, never get to the point to where you are willing to deceive yourself, that you are willing to pretend that you are something that you know good and well you are not. And sometimes we get upset with the person that we see in the mirror. I wonder, am I just preaching to myself right now? But there's a time or two that I actually get upset with myself, because when I look at my actions, I know about my actions that I'm just simply hurting myself. I can't blame another person. This is all me right here. This is all my doing. Oh, come on here, somebody. I wish I get some more amens out there, because I know some of you have been guilty of jacking up your own life. You have been guilty of ruining your own life, of messing up, watch this, a good situation. I wonder, has God ever blessed anybody, put you in a better place, but then all of a sudden, here you go with your jacked up decision. Here you go playing the fool again. Here you go acting stupid again. Here you go acting like you ain't been taught, and you're doing something that's hurting yourself. See, the reason some folk can't clap is because they're wondering, how in the world does this man know what I've been up to? How does he know basically what I am known for? Because when certain folk talk about some of us, that's what they say about her. She's always hurting herself. He's always doing something to bring himself down. He can get a good job, but I guarantee you he won't keep it. He can get a good woman, but I guarantee you he won't keep her. She can get a good man, but I guarantee you she won't keep him. Why? Because they are known for hurting themselves. And you see it even in the church. Folk who regularly attend church set up under not just any kind of a word, but an anointed word. Don't just sit up under a prophet. Don't just sit up under a pseudo or a false prophet. But you got folk who regularly hurt themselves, and they have the audacity to tell people that my man of God is a true man of God. He is a true prophet, and what he proclaimed, God causes it to come to pass. Where your life should be a product of how great the prophet is, and you should be minimizing hurting yourself. Oh, we're gonna get down in here today. I said we're gonna get down to what they call the nitty gritty. We're gonna get down to what the real problem is. Because there are marriages that could be better, but folk hurting themselves. There are singles who could be farther along, but they hurt themselves. And sadly, there are young people who are already building a reputation for being known for hurting themselves. And of course, when we look, we have hurt ourselves unintentionally. But even when you hurt yourself and you didn't mean to do it, it doesn't alleviate the pain. Doesn't make the pain any less because you didn't mean to do it. Can I just digress for a moment? Wonder if anybody ever hurt yourself, but you could tell yourself, I didn't do it on purpose. Wonder have you ever been walking through the house and just bumped your knee on your bed? I mean hard. Bumped it so hard that it stopped what you was going to do. Oh, God, some of y'all still young. Wait a minute. I mean, you bumped it and you had to stop. You bumped your leg and you had to go somewhere and sit down for a minute. Now, you would have to be a big-time fool to turn around and blame the bed or to get the fussing at the bed for not moving out of your way. No. I didn't mean to do it, but like it or not, I hurt myself. And again, if you done got some age on you, a little shaking won't immediately cause you to recover. You may go a whole day with a little bitty limp to what you're doing, but you're still making it. And somebody say, hey, what, you all right? Oh, yeah, I hurt myself. But see, we willing to share with people when we hurt ourselves and it wasn't intentional. We don't mind talking about the thing that we did, but I didn't mean to do it. But can we talk about the times that we hurt ourselves on purpose? A willful act. Can we deal with it this morning? Because some of us, the reason things are not better is because it's our fault. And our choices matter. This man in the text, like many who are here today and many who are watching, you are also known for always hurting yourself. That's your reputation. You built it because of your choices. See, y'all trying to act quiet on me. But see, I'm wondering, do you know anybody? Do you have at least one person in your family that when you look at them closely, They're always hurting themselves. Doesn't matter how much you tell them you love them. Doesn't matter how much you try to put into action in order to help them. You know about them that she's going to do something. Wait on it. Watch it. Watch it. And that is the reputation of some people. Oh, Lord. That is the reputation of some black men. But they blame their lack of success on being black, on growing up poor. Some folk blame it on being raised in a single parent home. Well, if I had two parents, well, there are folk that was raised with a half of a parent. But they eventually grew up and they learned from the mistakes of their parents. We got to get to the point to where we ain't about repeating bad behavior, but make a correction. Stop blaming folk for stuff happened 30 years ago. Recognize what you're doing today. God has had to tell me about certain folk. Leave them alone. Let this be all them. Don't try to talk them out of it. Let it be their decision. Solely 100%. Can I teach it right? But see, you got to learn how to back off of people who are determined to ruin their life. You got to learn. Good God, I feel the Holy Ghost in the house. Some of the worst weight to carry is dead weight. The Bible says in the text that he was always in the tomb and in the mountains cutting himself. He was always doing this. He was known for being a man that was hurting himself. What's wrong with him? Why is he cutting himself? And when you really look at it, most of the time when people cut, especially a human, then they're in a fight. Come on. But when you cutting yourself, you can say of yourself that you are your own worst enemy because you're fighting yourself. And that's what folks are doing. You are in the way of your own progress. You keep getting in the way of what God wants to do. You keep blocking what God want to bring you to. See, you're known for hurting yourself. Woo! And because you are attached to other people, then your actions not only hurt you, but they hurt the people who love you. They hurt the people who try to stay with you. They hurt the people. But see, this man was out of control. And for so many people, they never want to look at what they're doing. Come on, come on. Look at somebody real quick and say, you can already tell this morning. This is a real personal message. Sometimes I get tired of hearing men blame their wives. Refusing to even look at what they do. Get tired of church folk blaming the pastor when they know it ain't pastor's fault. It ain't my fault you a wimp. I know I teach a good word. It ain't my fault that you refuse to grow up. It ain't my fault that y'all won't love each other. It ain't my fault that you won't raise that child according to the word. But it's easy to blame somebody else. Easy to point at somebody and say, well, if he did this, I'd be better. I'm like this because nobody loved me. But see, the main person who has to love you besides God is you loving yourself. And whenever you are hurting yourself, it's telling me you don't love yourself. Look at the amount of people who not only are known for hurting themselves, but watch who they hang with. Watch who they go out to eat with. Watch who you find out that they're always tied to. Tied to a person that's just like you. Old folk, you say birds of the same feather flock together. And some people who are known for hurting themselves, they don't want to be around people. Watch, we in the text, who will try to tame them. Tired of him always telling me what I need to do. Tired of him always saying, I'm in your business because it's so jacked up. See, they would bind him with chains, trying to get him under control, only for him to break loose and to prove to everybody that I can't be tamed. I'm not going to allow you to help me, Pastor. There are parents in here that you're doing your very best with your child, but they don't want to be tamed. Ooh. And see, whenever you are refusing to get yourself under control, then there are going to be things that are going to appear in your life to control you. Whoa, watch this. To punish you. And there are people who one thing they love about you is that you are known for hurting yourself. And so if I know about you, you're known for hurting yourself, then that means I also can step in and abuse you when I want to. I can take advantage of you when I want to. I can do you however I want to do you. Why? Don't you demand that I respect you? The nerve of you don't respect yourself. So I'm here to hurt you. I'm here to punish you. And the ignorance of some people not to recognize that what you're going through right now is not a trial. It is a punishment that's coming as a result of you cutting or hurting yourself. Breaking loose from the things that are being sent to tame you. See, a word like this is sent to cause people to not only stop hurting themselves, but to come under control. That's what I love about living by the word. Because it keeps me on the narrow path. Come on. There's a reason I don't step out. By step out, I mean cut out on my wife. There's a reason I don't cut out. It ain't because I don't see nothing worth cutting out for. Come on, somebody. But I don't cut out because I'm bound by the word. The word is holding me in check. It's taming me. Come on, single person. The only reason you ain't laid down and spread them wide is because the word has been taming you. Oh, Pastor, you shouldn't say that. We got children in here, but they saying more than that on YouTube. They saying more than that in cartoons. Don't limit my preaching. See that word? That's where you want to be at a good church where the word go forth. And that's where you tell folks, look, I got to go to church. You act like you got to be at all the time. Look, I need something to keep me tamed. Need something to keep me under control. Every now and then, that old man tries to rise up. If I ain't got nothing to tame him. I ain't talking to none of you folk born saved. I ain't talking to you and your first words were speaking in tongues. I ain't preaching to you. Preaching to folk that every now and then you got to tame that old man. You got to tame that old girl. Come on, you got to tell that old girl what she ain't going to do. Got to tell her you ain't cussing nobody out. You ain't fighting like you used to. You ain't getting revenge. You ain't getting even no more. Whoa! You ain't hating on folk no more. You ain't judgmental no more. See, after today's message, some of you gonna know that what God is saying to you is to leave certain folks alone. Let them alone. But Pastor, she my daughter, leave her alone. That's my nephew, but I gotta leave him alone. He won't be tamed. And see, I got news for you folk growing up and you loving the streets. The streets bite back. Them streets gonna bite you back. Look at the text. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. Notice. And when he had come out of the boat, immediately met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs. Can we teach it? See, you know folks out of control by where they love to dwell at. I know what you're up to when I look at where you like to hang out at. You ain't smoking dope no more. Why you got to be around the dope house? I ain't took no hit in a while.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.